Hey guys, welcome back, and today in this video I'm going to show you how to build this deck behind me here. It's got a couple of cool features and we're attaching it to the floating dock, and if you liked the DIY dock video, we are going to show you how to attach it to your standalone deck. So let's get to it. You're going to start by laying out your footings. That large concrete block that you see behind me already has one secured in it. I also linked my video on how to secure a dock to land, and you can see how I did it. You lay out your footings no larger than 6 feet apart when you're using 2x8 decking. All you need to do is drop your deck blocks in place, and don't worry because you're going to level them later on. I'll show you how, but for now, just put them there as it gives you a rough idea of where you're going to have them at the end. Once they're all roughly in place, now you're going to level each of them by digging out a side of the land if you have to, and then adding gravel for proper drainage. Do that for all of your footings before you start your deck. Shout out to DeWalt because this video is sponsored by their new cordless worm drive circular saw, and I built the whole deck, you guys, on one battery. One battery! You're going to start with your corner post and cut your 4x4 or your 6x6 to the desired deck height. Once that's done, cut your outer rim board to the desired length and place it on your post. Put a screw or two in it, that way it doesn't fall off while you level it. Place your level on your rim joist, and this is where you're going to need an extra set of hands. One person will hold the level on the board and the other one will move it up or down to find where it levels out. You'll then take the measurement from the inside of your deck block to the bottom of your 2x8, and that is your new post. The other posts along this beam are a lot easier because you repeat the exact same process, but you only need one person this time because the entire rim joist is already leveled, so you're able to do it solo. A lot of videos that I have watched talk about leveling your deck, and that's very important, but something that is just as important that I don't see stressed enough on YouTube and DIY tutorials is making sure your deck is square. So I was actually a terrible math student, so don't let this intimidate you, but we're going to be using the 3-4-5 method, which is basically at the point of your two rim joists, measure down 3 feet, and from the exact same point, measure down 4 feet. Then once you have those 2 points, measure across to complete your triangle, and that should measure 5 feet, 3, 4, 5. If you have a larger deck, you can double those numbers. But essentially move your rim joist in and out, so that way your 2 corners meet 5 and your deck is square. Go ahead and build the rest of the shape of your deck, checking every now and then to make sure that it has remained square. Now we're gonna go ahead and get the joists laid out and get them on. If you're not familiar with that term, joists are the boards that are inside of your deck frame. If you've ever wondered why your tape measure has a couple of numbers that are red, that is because it's for laying out your joists on your decking and your floor, as well as the studs in your wall, so that they're all 16 inches on center. For your first joist, mark an X at the 16, but also count back 3/4 of an inch. Your joist is 1.5 inches, so the X is the center and the other mark is the side. Your square, I know, even though it's shaped as a triangle, this is one of the most important parts when you are framing your deck. Pick up one of these tools. So you'll draw a line, that way when you attach your joist, it's straight. Once all of your joists are laid out, measure, cut, and screw them in. The outer perimeter of your deck is called your rim joist, and we will double them eventually, but the reason I don't at first is to screw the joists in. After they are all screwed in, now you're going to attach joist hangers. Get the proper joist hangers and the proper nails at your local hardware store, and the joist hangers are going to add strength to your wood. As decking dries, just like any other wood, it twists and shrinks, and the hangers are going to help prevent that. Once all of your joists are on and all of your hangers are hung, you should install blocking. This is just small pieces of the 2x8 you have left over. They sit between your joists to increase the strength of long spans. Now you can go ahead and double your rim joist. So basically double the 2x8 that is fully surrounding the shape of your deck, and do 3 or 4 screws every 4 to 5 inches, and that will create a solid beam and give it a lot more strength. So if you're wondering why there's some posts that I'm leaving long, that is because I'm going to be attaching a privacy wall and a clothesline. You choose to do your decking this way versus having the rim joist sit on top of your posts and then doing a railing. Just make sure that your rim boards are bolted to the 4x4 instead of just screwing or nailing them in. All right, now we finally feel like we're getting somewhere. It's time to put your deck boards on. You're able to just lay them out straight, and that's a very simple install, but I personally love picture framing them in. So that's basically cutting a border on 45 degrees like a picture frame and then putting straight boards on the inside. I just feel like it dresses it up a bit. When attaching your boards, you're going to use 2 nails per joist. And I am using the DeWalt cordless framing nailer, and having this job site so far away from any power outlets and being fully cordless, it has changed my life completely. I hate cords. I actually didn't realize how much I hated them until I didn't have them anymore. So this is where it gets a little bit more complicated. I have actually switched directions of the joist, and I'm going to be laying my deck boards on a 45 because there's a big rock that I wanted to build around, and I get to use my new contour gauge that I found on Amazon, transfer the rock pattern onto the boards, use my jigsaw to cut it out, and then it can be butt up to the exact shape of the rock, and it looks like it's been built in. Don't worry, if this is your first time building a deck, completely skip the built-in rock phase. I don't blame you, but it's pretty cool to watch. Once all the deck boards are on, I then put up the privacy wall that I talked about earlier in the video. It's super easy. You just need to use a scrap wood for a spacer and make sure it's level as you go all the way up. I then added skirting around the bottom to finish it off. I left about 4 inches from the ground for airflow, and then I got my dad to pile in some larger rocks around it so that it looked a little bit more soft and natural, and it got rid of that harsh cut line at the bottom. So there's really just so many components to building a deck that I have split this next one into its own separate video, and it's going to be how to build a nautical rope railing. That's a tongue twister. Click on the link below if you want to see the exact instructions on how I built it and stabilized it, because it's just posts alone and that's technically pretty wobbly. So I'm going to show you some tips and tricks on how I did. Anyway, I attached the railing throughout the entire deck, added the rope, and I am just in love with how it turned out. Oh, that is not Mowgli on my back. That is my 6-year-old daughter, Ari, and my 8-year-old daughter is filming, and this is just a very cool behind the scenes of what it's like to build anything with kids. You make do. If they want a piggyback ride and you need to make a rope railing, you just do it. Whether you do a celebration dance like Ari or you pack 3 beers in your pants like my dad, it's time to celebrate because you finished your deck. Something I forgot to mention is I'm actually not putting a railing around the built-in rock. I got my dad, yet again, to take some really large rocks down by the built-in rock, and that's going to be like a really cool feature that the kids get to walk up on the deck from the rocks. I think it's cool anyway. From built-in rocks to rope railings and privacy walls, I hope you found this video informative. Once you take away all of that fancy stuff, the thing that's the most important is that it is built structurally sound. So if you follow the tips in the beginning, all of the other stuff will come. I hope you liked this video. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe, and yeah, I'll see you next time.